welcome to TBC News. Our top stories. Befitted goodbye to father of Mwanga. President Stubb of Finland to visit Tanzania. Good evening, I am Faida Ngaga. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and X pages at TBC Online. President Samia Suluhu Hassan has led mourners at the funeral service of the former First Vice President and Prime Minister Cleopa Msuya that was held in Usangi, Kilimanjaro. She says the late Cleopa Msuya has left tremendous memories in the country. Here are more details.
Usangi, Mwanga District, Kilimanjaro region. Befitting farewell ceremony for the true son of Mwanga District. Known by many as father of Mwanga, Cleopa Msuya, former Vice President and Prime Minister who passed away at the age of 94 in Dar es Salaam, where he was receiving treatment. Special service was led by the head of the Evangelical Lutheran Church of Tanzania, Bishop Alex Malasusa.
We extend our deepest condolences to the family of Mzee Cleopa David Msuya for the loss of their beloved. We also offer our heartfelt sympathies to the all national leaders and in particular to all enlightened citizens who mourn this great loss. This is profound tragedy for our nation, and we stand in solidarity during this time of grief. May his soul rest in eternal peace, and may his legacy continue to inspire generations to come.
Son of the late Mzee Msuya shared memories of his father.
In honoring the legacy of our beloved father, he made a heartfelt request that a college be established in a memorial, a gift from citizens of Mwanga to future generations. He envisioned this institution as biotechnology or information technology college dedicated to advancing knowledge, innovation, and opportunity for the youth of Mwanga and beyond. Our father believed deeply in the power of education and development to transform lives. He also emphasized the need to strengthen Mwanga's economy by establishing a major bank, a strong financial institution that would serve the uplift local community.
Former President Dr. Jakaya Kikwete narrates how wise, hardworking, bold, and truthfully the late Mzee Msuya was.
Guru wa mageuzi ya kiuchumi jamani, Mzee Cleopa David Msuya.
The architect and founder of this transformative economy reform is the late Cleopa David Msuya. Through his visionary leadership and unwavering dedication, he laid the foundation for the more stable and prosperous Tanzania. His contributions shaped the course of our economy development. His legacy will endure as a sign of integrity, patriotism, and commitment to the national progress.
Addressing mourners, President Samia Suluhu Hassan says the late Mzee Msuya left a tremendous memories in the country, saying he dedicated his whole life working for Tanzanians.
Kwa faraja kubwa nilimwona 2025 pale Mwanga wakati wa ufunguzi wa mradi wa maji.
With great comfort, I saw him there, the light among us during the inauguration of the Great Water Project. He came not just as a guest, but as a witness to a dream fulfilled, and what he had envisioned for the people had finally come to life. In that moment, his presence was a blessing, a symbol of dedication and hope realized this was more than just a project. It was the fulfillment of the desires of the citizens of Mwanga, and he stood among them as a visionary leader and a proud citizen.
After a special religious service, government's process took place. Goodbye, Mzee Cleopa Msuya, father of Mwanga, a true son of Tanzania. Antonia Kivaria, TBC News.
The President Alexander Stubb of Finland is expected to start a state visit in Tanzania tomorrow, according to a statement issued by Deputy Director of President's Communication, Shaban Kisu. President Stubb is expected to arrive in the country tomorrow, and he will be welcomed by President Samia Suluhu Hassan at the State House in Dar es Salaam. The two leaders will have talks and address media. During his visit, President Stubb will attend a seminar on legacy of the late Martti Ahtisaari, retired president of Finland, who also served as United Nations Special Envoy in Namibia and Kosovo, and previously worked as a Finland ambassador to Tanzania. President Stubb, who comes with businessmen and women from Finland, will address Entrepreneurs Forum to discuss business opportunities between the two countries. He will also address a youth seminar at Botanical Gardens and visit Women's Project at Machinga Complex. In other news, Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa says Tanzania is among countries that work closely with private sector in order to have economic growth and bring development to its people. Majaliwa made the remarks in Abidjan when he participated at a dialogue that involved prime ministers from Tanzania, Ivory Coast, Guinea and Cameroon. The prime ministers are attending Africa CEOs Forum in Ivory Coast. Prime Minister Majaliwa, who is representing President Samia Suluhu Hassan at the forum, says the government of Tanzania has been involving private sector for the benefit of the country.
A high discussion took place in Ivory Coast involving prime ministers of 4 countries, focusing on strengthening regional cooperation and advancing shared development goals. Also, the dialogue centered around 4 key issues, with particular emphasis on how our countries can collaborate to: first, encouraging strong partnerships between private and public sectors; second, promote productivity and innovation within these partnerships; third, stimulate economic growth through inclusive and sustainable initiatives; fourth, share best practices in governance and policy to support mutual progresses. The meeting underscored the importance of joint efforts in creating an enabling environment where both sectors can thrive and contribute to the economic transformations of our nations.
On the other hand, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Kosato Chumi, says the forum proves to the world that President Samia's intention to develop economic diplomacy. Now, to discuss more about Africa CEO Forum, we are joined by a political and economic analyst, Novatus Igosha, here in the studio. Igosha, welcome to TBC.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
So, more than 3,000 participants are attending the forum. These are heads of states. Some of them are prime ministers. Some of them are businessmen and women. Some of them are stakeholders. What is the actual significance or role of such meetings and efforts in bringing about a development in Africa?
Thank you. That's a billion-dollar question. But before I answer, let us remind ourselves on this 2025 CEOs Forum theme. It says, can the state and the private sector deliver the continent a winning hand? In my opinion, yes. Now, what is the significance? The significance is in a lot of things. Africa needs startups and businesses that can thrive. Because let's say an entrepreneur in Nairobi or a farmer in Morogoro and a small business in Abidjan all need support. And this support needs government alacrity. And alacrity would mean predictable policies, efficiency, and tax regimes that people can have the confidence to deliver. So in a transactional world which is changing due to different economic policies that are brought by trade wars between big economies, Africa needs to build itself together. in terms of coordinated infrastructure, in terms of efficiency, power systems, and this CEO forum normally brings elites from the government but also from the private sector in order to see the way forward in bringing the bridge into the markets of Africa.
For someone who may not be aware, how crucial is the private sector in bringing about transformation, specifically in the African continent?
It's very crucial because the private sector has the capital to invest. The private sector has the skills, human capital, but at the same time it has the financial resources. Now, in order for our countries to pick up, we need the private sector not only to invest in businesses, but also to invest in policies. This is the time where alacrity would mean, instead of exporting, let's say, for example, coffee beans from Tanzania to the rest of the world, or cocoa beans from Ghana to the rest of the world, then import chocolate. Chocolate needs to be manufactured here. Instead of exporting, let's say, cotton, then import shirts. Shirts needs to be manufactured here. So it's a question of bringing up our own abilities and taking the space into the space of market forces and industrialization into our own hands. That's why it's very significant.
Since African countries got independence, how would you rate the performance of the private sector, just generally?
Generally, I think it's still having a challenge, but there is momentum because most countries have embraced digital regimes, for example, in terms of taxation in Rwanda, in terms of harmonization of policies, economic policies in Tanzania, and of course, through the integration. So I think there is a difference between how it was in the 1990s and in the 1960s during independence to modern economic zones that we have. You can even consider development corridors, for example, from the central zone, Tanzania, to the DRC, and later to Uganda, or the southern zone from Zambia, the DRC, and Botswana. There is a very coordinated effort.
What else do you think hasn't been done and has to be done, apart from the involvement of the private sector and having a robust private sector? What else do you think African countries has to do in order to have strong economies?
Strong economies would require a high level of commitment. Commitment to have intentional education to the growing population of African young men and women. Commitment to reduce the political red tapes. People need to see stability, control of corruption, and reducing systemic, systemic challenges. For example, an investor needs to have confidence that when he comes here or goes elsewhere in the continent, his capital will be able to generate value. And therefore, value-added addition would also require us to avoid frustrating the private sector and frustrating foreign investors, so that the flow of goods will have potential to create an impact to the really infrastructure at home and the market forces that we want our economies to have, this transactional diplomacy or economic diplomacy that our leaders are working hard to build.
Thank you very much, Igosha.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. That was Novatus Igosha, political and economic analyst. The President's Office Planning and Investment, in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, is participating in the second meeting of the Joint Commission for Trade and Economic Cooperation between Tanzania and Russia that began on the 12th to the 13th of May 2025 in Russia. Kanki Mwagomole reports.
This meeting is the implementation of the Memorandum of Understanding between the governments of Tanzania and Russia on the establishment of a joint commission for intergovernmental cooperation in the areas of trade and economy. At the meeting, various issues of cooperation between Tanzania and Russia were discussed in the sectors of trade, economy, finance, energy, geology, transport, agriculture, education, and science, health, ICT and tourism. In addition, the meeting was used to sign a memorandum of understanding on the cooperation between Tanzania and Russia in various economic sectors.
Going forward, let me express my willingness and my readiness to support all the areas that you commented in your speech, including the cooperation in the field of tourism. We have made a very big advance. We have made very big advance in the airways cooperation. I think, and this area of education, science and technology is key. Tanzania and Russia have cooperated for many years in this area of education.
In addition, the Honorable Minister used the opportunity to welcome and encourage Russian investors to explore the diverse investment opportunities in Tanzania, ranging from energy sector, including renewables and gas, to strategic areas like logistics, agro-processing, ICT, and value-added manufacturing. Kanki Mwegomole, TBC News.
Media houses have been called upon to build strong and lasting relations with their stakeholders by understanding how those institutions operate from the ground up. Speaking during an official visit to the Tanzania Bureau of Standards, TBS, in Dar es Salaam, Head of Communications Unit of the Tanzania Broadcasting Corporation, Kathleen Nchimbi, says the move aims to improve how media communicates essential information to the public. Yoruba Stephen reports.
As a way of appreciating, recognizing, and connecting with the stakeholders who play a significant role in facilitating the availability of information for public education and awareness, the Tanzania Broadcasting Corporation, TBC, remains committed to build a long-term partnerships. Catherine Nchimbi, who led a team from the TBC to visit TBS in Dar es Salaam, highlights the importance of learning how the institution operates, particularly in ensuring the quality and safety of the product before they reach to the consumers.
It's very important to have this kind of tours to various institutions because people are used, TBC, we are used to receive guests and visitors. We receive various visited students, people from other organizations, from the government, but it is rare for TBC staff to go to other institutions for visitations or for just a tour. Decided that it is time for TBC also to go out there and meet people and receive their concerns, their ideas.
We'll build a mutual understanding and mutual beneficial relationship between us and the TBS so as we can sustain in this competitive industry. So we already see that the TBS is working with us, so we are going to maintain this relationship for win-win results.
Expressing her gratitude, Neema Mtemvu, Senior Public Relations Officer to TBS, welcomed the visit and acknowledged TBC's vital role in informing the public about TBS services. She also noted that as TBS prepares to celebrate 50 years of operation this year, the support from TBC has been especially impactful.
Us as TBS, we are very happy to work with TBC. We have been TBC stakeholder for so long, and we will continue to cooperate with them because they have a wide coverage, and for us, we can reach our target audience easily through TBC. So we are happy, and we are going to continue to work with them.
Government officials and legendary journalists say Charles Hilary was a distinguished professional journalist who upheld integrity in the broadcasting sector, especially through his excellent use of Kiswahili language. While leading media professionals, relatives and friends during the farewell service, the Dar es Salaam Regional Commissioner Albert Chalamila emphasizes that it is high time to keep praying for Charles Hilary and not just mourn for him. Caramello reports.
At exactly 9 a.m., the body of the late Charles Hilary arrives at St. Bartholomew Anglican Church in Dar es Salaam. Relatives, friends, and colleagues are gathered for a special farewell service.
No human being has authority greater than the power of death. That's why we must live with humility.
Speaking on behalf of the government, the Dar es Salaam Regional Commissioner Albert Chalamila delivered official government condolences.
Her Excellency, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, has extended heartfelt condolences to the family as well as to President Hussein Al-Mwinyi. I encourage you to keep your faith. God is with you at all times.
Moses Manyata explains how the church will remember Charles Hilary.
In our church, I can say we remember Charles. Personally, I know him more than 20 years. We have been living together here, praying together, and we have been involved in many things, played a vital role in fund mobilizations, but also in terms of coming up with the strategies on how we can raise funds for the construction of the church.
Legendary journalists who attended the service shared their memories of Charles Hilary. He loved his job. That is why he personally requested to take on this role. He carried out his duties wholeheartedly. Wherever he was given an assignment, he would research clearly and ask questions. His discipline is what truly set him apart.
Hilary has been a role model to many, especially in the journalism and media sector, from the international and local, from all wide range of areas in journalism. And we remember that he has actually worked at least in all the areas in journalism. So I think we have a lot to emulate from Charles Hilary.
Charles is a legend. He's gone, but his work will live on for many years to come. You know, he's inspired thousands and thousands of young journalists, broadcasters. You can see from the way football commentators are doing their job, a lot of bits and pieces are some of the work that comes from what Charles was doing during his years as a commentator at Radio Tanzania Dar es Salaam and BBC Swahili in London.
Charles Hilary leaves behind a legacy of professionalism, mentorship, and a deep love for language. His voice may be gone, but his impact will live on in the hearts of many. As you can see, the burial service for the body of the legend in the media industry, Charles Hilary, is being taken out of the church here as the service has ended. And the body will actually be transported to Zanzibar for the next, the final service. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Caroline Meleo, TVC News.
Now, before we wind up local news, let's have a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Do not miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in exchange rates. Sports news up next. Tanzania Women Entrepreneur Association TABWA Executive Director Noreen Mawala urges stakeholders to participate in the marathon race that aims to educate people about the effects of pollution. Speaking in Dar es Salaam during the launch of the race, Mawala says apart from running, there will also be health training, especially the use of clean energy in various jobs, a statement supported by the race participants.
The Clean Cooking Marathon is more than just a race. It's a movement for a healthier, safer, and more sustainable Tanzania. Alongside the marathon, exciting activities will take place, including the launch of the Clean Cooking Energy Song, a special anthem dedicated to promoting clean cooking solutions in Tanzania. We invite all Tanzanians to participate in this meaningful event. educational workshop on clean cooking, health education from Afya Checks experts will provide valuable health information, especially on the impact of indoor air pollution from unsafe cooking practices.
And on that note, we're ending our news bulletin for tonight. But do not miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. I am Faida Ngaga. Good night.